Day of Easter. And in case you're keeping score, there's not too many more Sundays of Easter. Following Sunday will be Ascension, and then the great feast of Pentecost, and that is the final Sunday of Easter season. I know Easter seems like a long time ago, and certainly the enthusiasm, the feeling has probably gently waned a bit. But try to keep it going and in mind that this beautiful time and really nice weather here in Florida. It's still the Easter season. So rejoice, the Lord is risen. Again, we picked up from the Gospel of John. We began last week from chapter 15, 1 through 8. Now we pick up from 9 through 17. Jesus said to his disciples, "The Father loves me, so also I love you. Remain in my love. You keep my commandments, you remain in my love. Just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is my commandment. Love one another as I love you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I no longer call you slaves, because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I've called you friends, because I've told you everything I've heard from my Father. It was not you who chose me, but I chose you, and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will remain. So whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. This I command you, love one another." If only it was that simple to love one another. Oh, we love our friends, perhaps our family, I hope. People are good to us. We may have nice, warm feelings, but the other people, And we'll see how much we love one another because, coming up in the next few months, we have the time for election. I know, oh boy, you know what that's like now. And we'll see how loving we are. We see how separated that. So keep that in mind. We're to love even those who have different opinions, different views, when we are called to love. All right. Anyway. Jesus said he chose us, that we have not chosen him, but Jesus chose us. All right. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. So what's the point of that? Oh, if you hear some months ago talk about the Hebrew boys learning how much they learned of the Bible, and they would try to follow a rabbi. Typical way was that the young men would seek out the rabbi and ask the rabbi if they can be, his students, his followers. And the rabbi would check them out, see if they're qualified, if they're good enough, and then, make the selection. But it was them seeking the rabbi. No, Jesus said, no. You didn't choose me. I chose you. He had a reverse. He went looking for them. Yes, which I guess is an honor. Imagine. The rabbi looked for me, picked you out. So don't forget that. It was me who picked you, not the other way around. And he chose us for joy, those apostles and us. However hard the Christian way is, it is both in the traveling and in the go, the way of joy. There's always a joy in doing the right thing. And joy to me is an expression, an example, all right, of a man who's close to Christ. A gloomy Christian is no Christian. I don't care what's going on in your life, in the world, we still, because we know Christ, we have joy. We are chosen for love, and that's supposed to be synonymous with being a Christian, is how we love one another. We are sent to the world to love, to care for, not enable, right? Not to patronize, not to accept things that may be right, but we are to love and care, not to judge and condemn. Jesus called us to be his friends. Friends means it's almost like an equal basis, doesn't it? A friend, right? As you know, I have a good friend, Father Doherty. And to be honest with you, I don't know if it's really quite the friendship in a way. I hold him in high regard. He's very dear to me, very special, and a great help for me. But it's sort of like I put him here, and I'm sort of, I seek his help. He's not one seeking out my advice or my, maybe because many years he already has the wisdom. I mean, yes, he's my friend, but it's a different kind of friendship. I hope you understand that's not I don't think we're on equal footing in a way. I look to him. I don't think he will look to me. But when Jesus says you are my friend, it's almost, a friend is someone on equal footing. That's great to be a friend of God. Abraham was a friend of God. Right? Moses was sort of a friend of God as well. Jesus not only chose us, but for a series But he asks us to be his partners in this work, partners in the mission to go out and spread the good news. We're not his slaves, he says, right? You're my partners. We are to be his ambassadors. We are to be his advertisements. So much talking now about evangelizing. None of us knows how to evangelize. But first and foremost, be a good advertisement. Are you one who smiles, who kind, who gracious? All right? Not easy to do because we have our days, we have our moments. The human factor takes in. We get tired, we get irritable. Right? We respond. We have different personalities, and it's not always that easy. I understand, but the key thing is not to be reactive, and especially maybe sometimes how people treat us. And I get annoyed on the phone. I want to, have the desire to, putting on hold and waiting, and that feeling and the confusion. Sometimes it's easy to become short, become irritated. And somehow we got to, deal with that with our voice. Deal with that with our voice. How to behave. All right? How to behave. So we must love one another. And I think by example, we are God's ambassadors. We are God's witness. We are God's billboard. We are God's sign. As you say, that we may be the only Bible somebody reads. All right? We're the only Bible that somebody reads. So you got to realize that somebody's always watching, whether you're aware of it or not. Someone's observing us, how we treat others. You observe people, how they treat others, all right? Your friend, your smile, you act not because how they treat us. We treat people kind because that's who we are. It's not dependent on their behavior or their gratitude towards us. We do the right thing. Not easy, but with God's grace, we can do it. And so, I take the heart, my disciples, if you keep my commandments, that we love one another. Lord, help us in that daunting challenge, that daunting task. But only by your grace can we do it. God bless you.